everybody, my name's Rose Smith from AbsoluteSoulSecrets.com. Thank you for joining me for the awesome Aries April 2022 horoscope. It's a big month coming up in April. So just to confuse things, there's two new moons. The second one is known as a black moon. There's also at the end of the month this second black moon in some places, because it all depends on the calendar month as to where you are, and I'll talk about this when we get going. But there's also a partial solar eclipse. A lot of other exciting things happening with Jupiter, Neptune and Pluto I'll talk about as well. And what I like to do, just to briefly explain, I like to draw two tarot cards as theme cards for the month for you. We'll have a look at your horoscope in depth. I won't be doing the psychic channeling at the moment, just because these horoscopes are getting bigger than Ben-Hur. And, you know, I'm cognizant of everybody's time, so I'll cut those out and see how we go, trying to get it down, the videos down to being really succinct. Okay, if you are new, please consider subscribing to the channel and hit that notification bell right now. Let's go to the board. We'll draw these two cards, and then I'm going to talk about all the exciting things that are happening. I have already shuffled up these cards properly, but I have to go very slow for obvious reasons, and this might be for a few weeks yet. It's my thumb is sprained here where it goes into the wrist, because it's not a good idea to move furniture about when you're older. I keep forgetting. I think I'm like 40, and if I want to move something, I just move it, and I didn't even think two thoughts about what could happen. Okay, so the first card, or the first half of the month, is the Tower card. Okay, I'm just going to disregard that, and I'll tell you why, because I've brought that on by talking about this. So I'm just going to put that to the side. It usually means when something unexpected and traumatic happens, and this was actually in my astrology. Mars squares Uranus, and you know how on my videos, if you follow me, you'll know I often say be careful of that, because Mars and Uranus together can bring accidents. Yeah, right. Okay, so let's go again. All right, because that's just not to do with you, that's to do with me. All right. Okay, so close my eyes now. What do I see? Yes, well, I do see a lot of clouds, but you know, the thing about clouds is they blow away really quickly. So there might be some confusion here. Can't see the wood for the trees. Maybe you're not sure in what direction you're supposed to go in. It doesn't feel like a really terrible storm. It's just that these grey clouds bring a fog into your life, so it's hard to know what you're supposed to do about a certain situation. There is, of course, grey clouds here in this card. The Fool card, it doesn't mean fool as in our understanding of the Fool. It's not as negative as that. What this means is stepping out, about to do something, an undertaking, but you really don't know what you're taking on. And but the universe does often smile on people that do this, that'll take a risk. You want to do your research and planning and things like that before you step out. You'll notice here there's a little dog trying to hold this person back. That's often someone like family and friends. And you'll find sometimes, you know, you might have a brilliant idea, you think it's brilliant, but other people disagree. They don't want you to quit your job. They don't want you to leave that relationship or whatever it may be. There's a lot of growth here, but action needs to be taken. And you'll see this person's about to step off a precipice into the unknown. Are they going to grow wings and fly, or are they going to sink to the bottom of the ocean? And even if they do sink, and they fail at their endeavour, there's often there's often sunken treasures at the bottom of the ocean that give you a silver lining. So it's not really a losing situation per se. Okay, a major arcana, very important for you beginning the month. awesome Aries. All right, so the second card, I'm going to go with that one there. And I'm going to close my eyes. And what do I see? A door opening up, a lot of light on the other side. Okay, so this is continuing on from the beginning of the month now. I still see clouds, but they've changed colour. They're white. And so there's a lot more light. There's a lot more insight coming into a situation that you've opened the door up to. Maybe you were thinking about something, but you weren't ready to take it on board. The door wasn't open, the opportunity wasn't there, and now it is, and now you're starting to understand what it actually means. The card that comes up is the Nine of Pentacles. This could be something to do with your money, possessions, or the things that you value, and it's like a new way of looking at something, exploration, adventure, excitement even, and there's some strength in you around this. So, you know, you have strength of conviction in some respect, even if you don't understand all of the ins and outs 100%. You have the energy and the motivation to go out and find out what it does mean for you. Okay, so Knight of Pentacles, it's probably to do with your money quite often. Happy birthday to all the awesome Aries this month, okay? I'll put that down here, and I'm going to put it on its side because I really don't think that's for many people at all, just for me. All right, so 2 new moons and a solar eclipse, and what I want to talk about also is Jupiter conjuncting Neptune in Pisces, which is really quite exciting in a sense because it brings a real spiritual energy into your life. And Jupiter and Neptune get together about every 13 years, but in Pisces it only happens about every 150 years or so. So, you know, not very often at all. Yeah, and bringing Neptune in, that also gives you an extra lot of spirituality, and it's here in your 12th house. So this is very significant. It is a highly spiritual time for you. 21 degrees 26 minutes, 23 degrees 35 minutes. So this is going to get stronger and stronger as Jupiter gets closer to Neptune, because Jupiter travels much more quickly than Neptune. So your spirituality is really going to increase. The only thing is, if you're doing anything that requires logic, you might feel a bit cloudy. Remember, come back here and I talked about clouds, and also here that the clouds were dissipating and you could have light. And it's also, you know, with clouds there's a lot of myths and legends about, you know, heaven being in the clouds, or all the sayings we have about being, you know, up in the air and with the clouds and that sort of thing. You know, so it's a very spiritual and significant time when you can really be looking into your dreams and your, you know, meditations and spirituality generally. The other thing that is important is on the 28th, Jupiter sextiles Pluto, and this is likely to bring very positive, successful transformation to you. You don't have to force it, it's just going to happen naturally. There's a lot of power and influence around you, especially to do with your career and general life direction. Pluto's up here and Jupiter is here, so it's making a lovely easy angle for you. This could bring more money into your life through your career or your reputation. You could be promoted or get a far better job. Powerful forces are working behind the scenes to promote you to a higher level in life. Okay, this is known as an independent chart because most of the planets are here on what's called the eastern side of your wheel. Your ruler Mars is in the 12th house. Sometimes this can bring a bit of frustration because although you might be really fired up in terms of your spiritual energy, trying to get ahead, maybe receiving messages from spirit or using your intuition, sometimes it's hard for all of that energy to be properly grounded, so do be cautious of accidents. But going for a walk every day, dealing with animals, especially four-legged animals, can help you. Okay. All right, let's have a look at this horoscope now in more depth. Now, the 31st of March or the 1st of April, depending on where you are, the new moon is in your sign here, joining Mercury, the Sun and Chiron, okay? For most of the world, it will be on the 1st of April, but west of Salt Lake City in Utah, if you're in the States, it's the 31st of March. You're likely to be more perceptive and sensitive than usual. You could be, quite affected by what's going on in your environment, and there could be something about your identity that's going to change. The sun brings a lot of insight. And with the new moon, there's new beginnings. So maybe, you want to clean out your wardrobe and perhaps get some new clothes. Maybe even your house. You could even do some sort of renovations or rearranging of furniture. Do be cautious in your home. But yeah, your identity and how you look, how you appear to the public, what you put out into the world is likely to undergo some sort of major change. It's a great time to be at home in a comfortable and supportive atmosphere. Also with the new moon here, be cautious you don't react from habit or overly, emotionally on some topic. Then we have on the 4th of April to the 2nd of May, Venus moves into your 12th house here. And this is sort of interesting. Do be careful if you have romantic yearnings for someone who is unavailable to you in some way. You need to, use a lot of discretion and keep things to yourself, basically. It's not the time to be moving too soon on a relationship, for example. On the other hand, somebody could also need you. They could need your help. You might be called to care for somebody without getting anything in return. It's a great time for meditation and some sort of charity work, might, or a donation even, because Venus looks after money as well. But don't go overboard by sacrificing yourself too much, okay? That's really important. Then on the 5th of April, Mars also moves into your 12th house here as well. You're probably not feeling very sociable, and it might be hard to be openly affectionate with someone you care about. So, yeah, do watch that. As I was saying before, there's this energy for Mars to do stuff, but it's hard to ground it physically. So yeah, just take extra care of yourself. You might find with Mars that sometimes things pop out of your mouth that you didn't intend. There could be some irritability or underlying frustration there. The 6th of April to the 14th of April, Jupiter conjuncts Neptune. Okay, I've already mentioned this, but basically your mind is wandering to faraway places. It's excellent for your imagination, and you might be full of thoughts about, going overseas, the exotic, the mystical, the fantastic. It's like your imagination just really soars off into the clouds. That's fine, especially if you're a bit bored with your daily routine. This might motivate you to, do something that's a bit more exciting in life. But on the other hand, then it's sort of hard to concentrate on mundane matters. You might be doing a lot of daydreaming. Maybe, with Venus there, you might be looking at a lot of romance novels and things like that. It is a great time, if you can get your head together, to plan a trip overseas, something to look forward to. You might also be feeling very inspired spiritually and be more in touch with spiritual forces. It's a great time for attending spiritual festivals or functions, reading inspirational literature. Open your mind and your imagination to a greater vision, okay? And don't think, if you're having these feelings, or you just want to have a break or something like that from normal everyday work, don't think it's anything odd. It's completely normal, and it's actually a really good thing. If you're a lawyer or an accountant, or you're dealing with money, you'll have to take extra special care that you don't make mistakes, perhaps. 10th of April to the 29th of April, Mercury moves into your second house here. There might be lots of discussions around finances, commercial transactions, your possessions, your assets, and your material security, or maybe the things that you value, even things like perhaps integrity or honesty. But it is time to really manage your resources now. It's also a great time to consult with a financial planner or an accountant and get your business affairs in order. 13th of April to the 24th of May, Mars in your 12th house, I already talked about, but it might be that it's very difficult to make your desires be felt physically on this planet. And you might feel like you don't have an impact when you try to do something. You can't make an impact or get things done in a forthright way. No, this is only temporary, of course. It's best to retreat from confrontation, allow matters to go their own course, because it's probably not going to work out the way that you want. The energy is just not there for it. It is a great time to help other people too. 16th of April to the 18th, but at a peak on the 16th is the full moon in your 8th house here. This is also about money, but this time it's to do with other people's money, joint resources, and perhaps intimacy. Maybe there's some jointly held property or personal belongings, something like that, but you have some sort of emotional attachment to it, and you might not be really viewing the situation objectively. Your emotions are likely to be more intense. Just watch you don't overreact. What the full moon does is usually it relates to some sort of transformation. It brings matters up out of your subconscious, and then you have to deal with it, and there's some sort of transformation as a result. The 18th of April to the 20th of May, the Sun moves into your second house. This is fantastic for your money and your possessions, because this gives you insight and awareness. So you might have had your head in the clouds, you got some light coming through, and now in the second half of the month, you see the path that you're supposed to go down, what direction you're supposed to take regarding your money. It'll become clearer what that direction is and what your next step should be regarding finances and possessions. 28th of April to the 22nd of May, Mercury moves into your third house here, and you could have very high intellectual curiosity. You could be thinking a lot, planning, strategizing. There's a lot of communications, and you might also flip from one activity to another and spend a lot of time chatting and socializing, going out, especially in your local area. Maybe there's some contact with siblings or cousins or distant family members. It's a great time to take a field trip if you have your own business, or some travel connected with business can be indicated. 29th of April, 30th of April it should be, partial social eclipse and black moon in most of the world and west of Salt Lake City in the second house. It's time to take care of your possessions, okay, and your personal belongings, and your focus is more on your valuables and your finances. It's not a good time with the moon. Might encourage you to do this, but it's not a good time to spend money on an impulse or a whim, and especially on things that have more emotional appeal than practical value. Try to be a little bit logical as far as your money goes. And Jupiter sextile Pluto from the 27th of April to the 7th of May is fabulous for business. There's a lot of cooperation with government agencies and organisations. And individuals can also help you now. So this is fantastic because people want to cooperate and support you, and especially authorities and bureaucracies that may have previously ignored your requests or your advice. Okay, so you could also have some sort of leadership role that comes up, and you're likely to be very successful with this. Now, I should have put that on Zoom board so that you could see. So just copy down anything that you need to know. But I won't do the psychic channeling this month. Alrighty, so that's it, everyone. I hope this is useful. Please let me know in the chat and in the comments and in the chat. And I just want to wish you a very busy, active and successful month. Okay then, I'll see you all again soon. Thanks and bye for now. Thanks so much for watching. Please visit my website absolutesoulsecrets.com for all things spiritual. Have a lovely day.